You guys are going to get 2 daily vlogs today. Really interesting, and I wanted to share this for you guys and share it for me. I had a long talk with a guy that rents us all of our equipment, and the guy is also just an amazing dude that had a larger lawn care service. And I was just talking with him about how, we at 3 Timbers are going to try to really shrink our revenue probably, but go more niche and kind of cut out divisions that aren't doing as well. So like I talked about in previous ones, we're going to get rid of our hardscape division, at least for the moment. That doesn't mean that we won't reopen it in spring or something, but through the winter in Arizona, we're not doing hardscape. Might we do the occasional 16 by 16 foot paver patio that's super easy? Sure, why not? If it's super easy, if it's like an entrance or anything like that, we're not gonna do it. We're just gonna say no, or we're gonna sub it. So yeah, I was talking to him about that, and he's like, yeah, we went very niche. I learned after a couple of years that my lawn care guys, they don't do landscaping. They don't like landscaping. They're not good at landscaping. They're lawn care guys because they want to be lawn care guys. That's what they want to do. That's what they're interested in. That's what they're good at. That's what they enjoy. He's like, I didn't force them into doing landscaping because every single time they do mulching, they did it. Wow. Every time I'd have them do mulching, even though it was simple, they didn't like it. They hated it. They wanted out on it. And so he's like, I had them stop doing that. Every time I asked them to fix an irrigation line, it went poorly. They hated it. They didn't like it. It wasn't what they did. Fertilizing. Guys would mess up fertilization. They didn't like it. They didn't want to do it. So that was just kind of eye-opening, because I realized what I've been doing to people like Drew isn't fair, because he's supposed to be a hardscape guy, and I haven't been able to get him the consistent work of just doing the same thing over and over, because I haven't found the partners to do the stuff that, we're not good at. I haven't found the partners to do irrigation. I haven't found the partners to do outdoor lighting. I haven't found the partners to do this, that, and the other. And with that being the case, it's always like, hey, Drew, can you make sure we bottle that up? And it's like, I don't know how to do it. And that's what he'll say. And I'll be like, well, you got to figure it out. You're the manager. And it's like, gosh, that was just unfair and continues to be unfair. So yeah, it's just eye-opening to realize, I've been making a lot of people do things that they aren't good at, and that's not what they want to do. So it's stupid to keep forcing it just because I can't find subs that are free enough to get it done for me. By free enough, I mean have the time. So if anything, it really made me feel good about the thought of us shrinking down and going to Arizona and just focusing on softscapes. So planting, rocking, mulching, edging, sod, just all that stuff that's just easy, right? And putting my ego aside and our ego aside as a company and saying, hey, if we can make a boatload of money on things that are easy, so be it. We don't need to be sexy. We don't need to do the $100,000 jobs every time. If we're making money, we're making money. And if we're having fun, we're having fun. And if we're making a bunch of money, that'll give us a lot more leeway to have more fun, do more for our employees, do more for our clients. And that's a good thing. That's what we want. So after talking to Mr. Blank, it gave me the confidence to actually sit down, or really not sit down. I stopped at one of Drew's hardscape projects and I just told him, hey, we're not going to be hardscaping this winter. And I didn't know if he was going to be bummed about it, if he was going to be disappointed, if he was going to feel like, hey, we're stopping our investment in that division, something that he loves. But he was so cool about it. He's like, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a lot of sense to be able to just dial it in. And I was like, dude, that's awesome to hear. Hopefully it helps you sleep better at night. I know it's going to help me sleep better at night. Just kind of simplifying some stuff for a while as we work on mass scale, and not losing money on any projects will just be huge. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. And the other thing I realized when I was talking to this guy was I just need to know more people in the industry, because I know no one in the industry. Like, we're a $1 million+ company that just floats around with no connections at all in the area. We just do work. We get jobs. We don't partner. It's just nothing. It's just us. And we try to take care of everything. And that's just not the right way to scale, mass scale, and not make mistakes that cost us a lot of money just from learning. So need to make more friends in the industry, need to learn more from people in the industry. So yeah, and since I talked to you guys last, we did hire 2 people, one guy to join the lawn care team and another guy to join the landscape team. I think we have just come to realize that we will always be hiring. We're always going to be changing guys in and out. We're always going to be trying to improve. And we also need to accept that in this industry, there are going to be guys that show up and guys that just don't show. I mean, we've had lawn care guys, or we had a lawn care guy last week that just didn't show. It's just claimed that he won the job, signed his contract, and then didn't show up. And it's just knowing like we're gonna hit and miss on a lot, and we're also gonna hit on some. Our interview process will still be more intense than most from the standpoint of we go phone interview, then we do an in-person interview if you make it through the phone interview, and then we have you come in and prove your work on a Saturday if you're still interested. But yeah, if you're just a laborer, we've decided that for now we can just filter through people and give people a shot if there's good people or they seem like good people in the interview and pass background checks. So yeah, 2 guys starting, it'll be good. Good. Last thing, and this is why I will give you an update later today. And yeah, I'm never gonna use names for this as we talk about people in the company, but we're gonna be letting someone know today that we are going to be demoting them. Jeez, that cement truck was like in the middle of the road. Essentially, this individual is making far too much. With their overtime, they are actually making the most in the company. And they received that hourly rate with the overtime offer because they had explained that they had an extreme amount of experience. So they were able to say everything properly in the interview, but once they actually got out in the field, it's a different story. So this individual said that he could build a patio on his own, retaining wall on his own, he could do all hardscapes on his own, and that just isn't the case. He's gone through several projects. Oh, that was nice. That truck, that's a Herman's truck. That's our supplier. And he just saw me sitting at the stoplight, and one of the truck drivers just gave me old waving on because recognizes that we're around. I don't know why that's cool. It's just cool that I'm surprised at how connected this industry is and how many good people there are in it. Anyways, back to the demotion. So project number 1 he's on his 4th right now. Project number 1, stone stairs, not level. So we're gonna have to put shims in to fix that. Also, he did not install the flagstone steppers properly at that project. So we had to redo the flagstone steppers. Project number 2 had wasted materials because this individual was placing corner pieces in the middle of the wall, or I should say wall block steps that we were creating. So don't really understand that. A corner piece has like a rough edge, and he just couldn't quite figure out where those went, so he was kind of putting them in the wrong spot over and over, so we kept wasting material. Second thing at that second project, he didn't take his time on putting the coping caps on. Coping caps are essentially what we use to cap stairs, and yeah, did not patiently put that on, so they're all uneven. So we have to go back and chisel those off and redo them. So that is super lame. Project number 3, what was it? Oh yeah, project number 3 right now. Oh, project number 3 was patio. He started basing it. He based it for Drew, and he based it without GeoGrid when we said you needed to use a geotextile. Sorry, not GeoGrid, geotextile along the bottom. So it's like a fabric and your base goes on top. He didn't do it. He also didn't base it properly. So Drew had to dig some out and then rescreen it. So essentially it took him just as long to fix the base. And then we had him clean up some beaches for us, and he did that on overtime. And he took 12 and a half hours when the longest any guy has ever taken to do beaches for us was 7 hours. He took 12 and a half, and that could have been our fault too. You know, I'm aware that some of this is our fault, but obviously there's a meet in the middle. So yeah, so that cost us a boatload of money. And then yesterday, Drewski was having him install a box drain. So that's like off of a gutter. A gutter comes down, and you have a box at the bottom, and that goes into a perforated pipe. Actually, it was non-perforated, runs out under the yard, has a pop-up drain where all that water comes out, so it runs away from the house. The guy installed the box drain so it sat 6 inches above the siding, and then put dirt around it. So buried the siding in some dirt, put the box drain in the wrong spot, and then put the pop-up in the wrong area of the yard. So far, not good. So we are just suggesting that if he wants to stick around, we got to cut pay dramatically, and it is what it is. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping, I'd say to this point, we have found that this individual may have a bit of an ego or doesn't take criticism super well. And a lot of us are like that. We just have to learn that skill. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I have written out a demotion letter, and then I'm actually having Brad come with me to the meeting because we want to just make sure there's two of us. So I have a witness, and I don't want it to be his superior because, we don't need him to feel awkward if he decides to stay with the company, which we'd love him to do. So that's really the deal. This was a long one, but a lot going on, and I will update you on how that goes a little later. All right. See ya.